Great.
Circuit underwent renovations during the late 60s with the hope that modern facilities would entice the FIA to host a Formula One GP. After hosting a non-championship GP in '72 to the attendance of over 100,000 people, the FIA agreed to host the championship GP the following year. The 1973 Brazilian GP was won by none other than Emerson Fittipaldi on his home circuit. You join us here today at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix in Brazil. Drivers here will be tackling this 190-mile round trip with 71 laps of this iconic circuit. When Max Verstappen set the fastest lap in the 2016 Brazilian GP, he became the youngest driver to have ever set fastest lap record at just a month over 19 years old. McLaren are the constructor with the most wins on this circuit, with a total of 12 to their name. However, Ferrari are not far behind them. The current venue is now officially known as the Autodrome Jose Carlos Pace, after the famous Brazilian driver of the 1970s who had his first and only win in Sao Paulo. Both Pierre Gasly and Carlos Sainz recorded the first ever F1 podium finishes at the 2019 Brazilian Grand Prix. The last time two drivers were the first podium finish in the same race.
Alright, welcome back to Broker Boys Tier 2 this time. Round 14 of the season at Interlagos, Brazil. 5 races remaining in the championship. We're heading to South America tonight. Qualifying is on the way. But a few driver changes ahead of this week. Drivers moving to Tier 3 and getting replaced by some other drivers. AMG Indy Haas has replaced SA24. Both Aston Martin drivers, where Brennan and Bob has been replaced by Frenchie, who will be making his debut this season, and Sakir has become a full-time Tier 2 driver till the rest of the season. And in AlphaTauri, Andy has been replaced by Pancakes for the rest of the season. And Duck and Quack has been replaced by France, who won't be racing this week. He will be replaced by Daz in the McLaren, who will be making his debut as well for this season. And someone who we're missing as well is currently the driver second in the championship, Wardy. He's not racing tonight, getting replaced by Charles in the Alfa Romeo. So, well, getting much closer to his championship. Drivers already on their flying laps. I think Material Germ is the first one out there to finish his lap. Eye out on the lap times. In the 108s. Is Material Germ through the final couple of corners. Back straight. Well, DRS opening very late on the straight. What's the first lap time of the night gonna be? It's gonna be a 109.5. The one for now. Zimniak has invalidated, going to the pit lane, is on a medium tire as well. Oh, it's almost spinning into the pit lane. And then it's Raiden across the line with a 108.3, almost over a second quicker than Material Germ. Dan Cannon has not set a representative lap time. Another outlap. As 7 Dad moves to P2, still 9/10 behind Raiden, who has done a very good first lap time, I must say. 108.3 is a incredible lap time for Tier 2. tenths of my own lap time yesterday, but that doesn't say much. Frenchie on his debut goes to P2 with a 108.7. Decent effort on everyone's banker laps. As Mihinovic in the Red Bull making his debut as well tonight. Replacing Pry and moving up to P2. Within a tenth of Raiden with a 0.4. Then Alpha Ibwal moving to P3. A few tenths behind as well. 10th Cannon has gone for another lap. Let's see what she can do across the line. 108.4, and that's a very good second lap. Puts her in P2 at the moment, a few hundreds ahead of the Red Bull driver. Then behind Raiden in the Williams. Deep to ball with a purple middle sector. He's been on fire throughout the season. Let's see if he can pull something special out of the back once again. Cross line for a 108.4, which puts forward at the moment and spins out into turn 1. There you have it, you guys, your championship leader spinning out. Not the first time this week. As well on a lap is Sean in the other Red Bull. Still quite a few drivers yet to the lap time. See what I can do. There, and now into the final sector. Nice and tidy. And across the line into the 108.6, which puts him in P6 with a 108.666. So Destiny McLaren on his first outing this season, or general, navigating through the middle sector. Very technical, a lot of twists and turns. You can lose and gain a lot of time. Go into the grass there, or you will ruin your lap. Behind him is Sly in the Williams, who put on a very strong effort last week on himself the rifle today. See if he can pick up some more points tonight for the Williams team. As Desert and McLaren will cross the line and go up to P7 with a very nice lap. And Slime was up to P9, P11 I should say, with a 109.1. And Pancakes facing Andy and goes to the top with a 107.9 into the 107s already. That's a unbelievable first lap time. So that's going to be very interesting. 4 tenths clear of anyone at the moment. And I wonder if anyone is going to be able to match that. Yeah, hasn't set a lap time yet. It looks to be purple in the first sector, but you never know with this game. In the middle and final parts of the lap. It says purple, but not sure if that's the case. We'll see in a couple of seconds time. If Shakir will go to the top of the timing sheets. Across the line for a 108.2, so it's P2 for now. It's a very quick lap time, but not quite on the same page as Pancakes in the AlphaTauri. Charles on an improvement as well, 3 tenths up in the first sector. Now down in P13 behind his teammate Skullkiller with a very tragic Bahrain Grand Prix last week. I'll not mention it too often. 6/10 improvement down for Charles in the middle sector. Looking to get into the low 108s and might get himself in the top 5. It's pretty close out there. See what he can do across the line, and it's P7. Losing just a little bit in the final sector, but still 0.5. And a tenth ahead of Alpha Hype Wall. Another invalidation for Zimniak. It's not been his night yet. First lap he invalidated on mediums, now his second lap invalidated as well on the softs. As Madman starts his lap as well. Currently last yet to the lap time with 8 minutes on the clock, and he invalidates coming out of turn 1. And that's your lap ruined immediately. And we'll have to pull back into the pit lane. And try again in a few minutes. Germany Haas is on the lap as well, improving a little bit in the first sector. But the second sector is where he gained the most. Half a second improvement there, that's what I'm talking about. And it can certainly get him into the 1/8. Be able to gain him a few positions. See if he can gain a bit more in the final sector as well. It's currently P17 across the line, and it's going to be P14 for the Haas driver. His teammate as well on a lap. It was Skokiller losing 1,000 in the first sector, but improving in the middle sector by 1.5 tenths. Was looking very strong last week, fighting for the win, but this week he's down to P13. Quite the same pace. Let's see what he can do across the line. Can he get himself into the top 10? No. Improves his time, but not his position. And stays in P13 for now. Madman has started his lap. And once a bit of a slipstream from Skokiller ahead. Didn't invalidate this time. Let's see what he can do. His teammate is in P10 at the moment. Heading into the final sector. But another run wide there. Had a yellow flag in the first sector. Slowing down on his outlap, and Madman is going straight into the pit lane. So obviously he is on a set of used tires. He tried to do one lap before. And he retired from the session actually, so that's gonna be P20 for the Ferrari driver. Zimniak looking to finally get himself a lap time on the board. And what would it be? A 108.3 puts him in P4 with a very nice effort. You can see if he doesn't invalidate the lap, he can be very quick. And it shows. That's a 108.3. And he'll have to get into the pit lane quite quickly, as Pancake retired from the session. So he is not going to improve either. Will it be enough though for pole position? Let's see what Sakir can do. Up on his time by a few hundreds in the first sector. Getting very close to the track limits. Out to the middle part of the lap. Careful with throttle application. As close as you can to the inside of the track. Running wide. And 7 dead to P2 with a 8.2. 5 thousandths ahead of Sakir, but Sakir is improving himself as well. 1.5 tenths almost up in the middle sector. Won't be enough for provisional pole position, but a front row is pretty much guaranteed if he continues this lap to the end. Cross the line for 108.1. Find a bit more time. He's now 1.5 tenths clear of 7 dead in P3. Alpha 5 while on the lap as well, improving by 0.2 of a second. All the way down in P13, looking to get a bit higher up on the grid, and across the line to P10 it is. So top 10 at the moment, and it's unbelievably close in the middle of in the midfield. He's 5 thousandths of a second ahead of Charles, who himself is another 6 thousandths ahead of Des in the McLaren. And he's only a couple of hundreds behind Deep Paul, Mahinovic, Tent Cannon, and Sean as well. So it's very close in the midfield. It will be another interesting race in Tier 2. Cannon invalidated as well, but there's still time for another lap. Yes, any ERS left? Yes, 100%, so nothing to worry about. Try again with 2.5 minutes on the clock. The time is ticking. At the final runs. The drivers out there, still quite a few drivers in the pit lane. With only 2 minutes to go. And kind of navigating away through the first part of the lap, the Senna SS. By a few hundredths of a second, but a few hundredths can gain you quite a bit, considering how close it is. Make the difference between P4 or P10. See what I can do in the middle sector. 4 thousandths behind Sean at the moment. The Kia retired as well, so he won't be improving either. 3 tenths up in the middle sector. 3 tenths, that could get her very close to the front row if she finds some more time in the final sector. Shakir has a 108.1, Tent Cannon across the line is currently P7, and goes to P2 with a 108.0. Front row it is at the moment for the McLaren driver, but there's still many other drivers out there starting their lap or are on their lap. Here comes Charles across the line, not improving, but might be able to do another lap if he's got the ERS and the fuel in the tank. Paul to the top with a 7.9. And it's an Alpha Tauri 1-2 once again. They're absolutely dominating throughout both tiers. And Paul has managed to beat Pancake Time by only a few hundredths of a second. At another 107. Oh, and Raiden has crashed coming out of turn 1. Williams driver has had enough. He's not going to be improving. Front wing is off. And that's going to be P8 at best. Unfortunately, it's not the only one, as AMG in the Haas has lost the front wing as well. And now Mahinovic is going off. Everyone is going up at the moment. As Sean goes to P5 with a 108.2, only a couple of hundredths ahead of 7 Dead, who is still in his lap, is not improving in the middle part of the lap. What can Des do on his first outing? No improvement either. 7 Dead is not going to be improving, he's in P6. And remains in P6. Anyone else still on the lap? Zimniak is not improving either. Frenchie is invalidated. Only Josh Boschman is on a lap and improving. see what he can do. Currently 19th, looking to get a few positions. Cross the line to P10. Very nice effort there from Josh Boschman. And I think that's it for qualifying, and it's a 1-2 for AlphaTauri and championship leader DPT Paul. Getting oh so close to his championship as he gets another pole position. Only a few hundreds ahead of his new teammate, Pancakes, in P2. Tan Cannon with a very solid effort. Puts it in P3 ahead of Sakir. John in P5 ahead of 7 Dead in the Ferrari. That's on debut. Qualifies in P7 ahead of Mahinovic, who has replaced Bry. Raiden will be a bit disappointed with P9, but still many opportunities in the race. Josh Boschman in P10, solid effort. A few thousands ahead of Zimniak in P11, who's got his teammate Alpha Highball right behind him in P12. That's it for qualifying for round 14 of the season. Look how close it is, only a few tenths between everyone. Charles in P13, replacing Wardy tonight. AMG in P14 out of Carnotaur. Frenchie Skullcutter down in P17. Ahead of Sliner Williams, Material Germ. And the entire field is covered within 1 second. That's insane. Madman in P20, the only one to not set a lap time. Pancakes P2, 33 thousandths behind DPT Paul despite only setting 1 lap. So it's going to be interesting. I wonder if they're going to be fighting each other. And it's looking a bit overcast for the race. Not raining yet, but by the looks of it, it could be raining during the race. So that might become interesting. As we prepare ourselves for the race at Interlagos. Up the Alphas. Yeah, let's see what they can do. Race pace is good, then certainly there are points up for grabs. It'll be an interesting race for sure, as it has always been for Tier 2. One minute left till get to go ready. Get the race on the way. to be another AlphaTauri domination, like we saw yesterday when they won 2 in Tier 1. Front row again in Tier 2 tonight. See if they can replicate what they did yesterday. Or will it be someone else? We're getting ready. Ready for the race. Here we go then. 5 red lights. The lights are on. And the lights are out, and a drive-through penalty for a few drivers, and we're off now. And it's a good start for an incredible start from Sakir, going through a couple of drivers into turn 1. He's already up to P2. Yellow flags behind. Deep Paul has remained in the lead. Pancakes has lost the position to Sakir with an incredible start on the mediums. Paul is out there on the hards. Here comes Sakir on the straight, pulling onto the inside. I don't want the strategies in the in my screen. And Sakir onto the internet. Sakir takes the lead, and there's a spinner at the background. I think it's 7 there this round in the Ferrari. Sakir from 4th on the grid, I think it was, with an incredible start, and he's up into P1 after that. And Sean is now going wheel to wheel with the AlphaTaurs as well, so they're dropping down a bit. Sean on the mediums as well. Tenkan now going wheel to wheel with Mahinovic, and the media runners are much faster at the moment. Ooh, a bit of contact behind there. Zimniak getting caught up in the pack, losing a couple of positions. And Zimniak, who's got a drive-through penalty as well for jumping the start. I think he reacted to Josh Boschman, who got a jump start himself. So very unfortunate for both of them. But Sakir leads the Brazilian Grand Prix after 1 lap. After a brilliant start, gaining a few positions. Deep Paul is down to P2, now he's got Sean right behind him, who's on the mediums, so he will be faster. Getting from bad to worse for Josh Boschman, getting himself a penalty. No, going wide is Pancakes and losing a position to Mahinovic, both Rebel drivers up to P3 and P4. And Pancakes relegated down to P5. And now got Tent Cannon right behind him. Both of them on the hards. Both Rebel drivers on mediums. And Sean is looking very close to the back of Deep Paul. Quite able to go for the move just yet, maybe on the back straight. Main straight, I should say. Next lap, of course, DRS will be enabled. There's yellow flags, and it's Zimniak who's heading off in the middle sector. Now move on to lap 3. DRS has been enabled. Bunch of drivers sending the fastest laps. Tent Cannon on the inside of turn 1. Can't quite get the job done. Has to remain behind for now. Right there, Raiden with a solid start. Moved himself up to P7 on the hards. Trying to stay close to the pack ahead. Another yellow flag, Josh Boschman. His race is going even worse now. Sakir is still out there in the lead. Can't quite manage the gap to Paul, who's had a bit of a moment there, I think, in 5 or 6 it was. Losing the back end. A little bit of time, but the 2 Rebels are going wheel to wheel now in the middle sector. So they're fighting it out instead of trying to gain places ahead. Sean has to defend from his teammate. Reach. facing Privor tonight, but his teammate as Pancakes now has got Tent Cannon behind him once again. Very close behind, and here comes Deep the Ball and Shakir going wheel to wheel into turn 1. Shakir remains ahead for now, and Deep the Ball gets a bit of a poor exit, and here comes Sean now with the help of DRS. There comes Deep the Ball swooping past the Aston Martin. Deep the Ball takes the lead on lap 4. Shakir down to P2. Still ahead though of Sean, who's once again wheel to wheel with his teammate. The two rebels going at it early on in this race. Sean remains ahead for the time being. Inovic right on his tail. A huge train of cars there, so the entire top 10 is within just of the other. Than the safety car is out. Safety car as Josh Boschman has crashed coming out of turn 2. And that's our first neutralization of this race, and that's very fortunate for Zimniak, who's almost getting lapped. If he's still driving, he's getting ghosted at the moment. A lot of drivers going to the pit lane, even from the hards. So Stefan Dad, who had a spin on the opening lap, I think, or lap 2, was on the hards and is going to pit for a brand new set of mediums. Same for Skull Killer and Material Germ. The rest of them staying out. And they have already caught up to the safety car, so they won't have the opportunity to pit. That's a massive advantage for the drivers who pitted. Brand new tires now, and they will be able to close the gap to the field. Be right there when all the others are gonna pit. Lap 5 and first safety car. All in the lead ahead of Shakir. Gone in P3, who's been fighting his teammate for the past couple of laps. Many of these guys are gonna put it to the pit lane, despite the safety car being out for a lap. Like it. Staying out. So not all of them. Madman and Sly pulling into the pit lane. Back end of the field. Any positions. And we'll go to a set of mediums as well. Sly in the Williams will do the same, and he's not going on the hard, so I think that's indicating that there is rain coming, maybe later on in this race. I'm not sure if you can make it on hards to the end on lap 6, but still. They have all opted for a set of mediums and not for a set of hards. Okay. Let's go, we'll stay out for another lap because Zimniak not caught up, and he is very much ghosted. Very weird. A glitch in the game or something. But if that's the case, then he can easily drive through people. So it might be an advantage. Safety car will go in at the end of next lap, so lap 7 on to 8. Resume this race. From the top 4, Paul is the only one out on hards. Sean and Minovic all on mediums, and a couple of drivers on hards. AMG and Des on mediums as well. Carnato and Frenchy on hards. The rest of them all out for a new set of mediums, except for Zimniak. He's gone on a new set of hards. Be spread out between our compounds. Drivers who pitted will be looking to fight back with the tire advantage. Up a few more positions. As we near the end of Sector 2, get the notification that safety car will go in very shortly. There it is, confirmation, safety car in this lap. We'll go back to green flag racing, and it's pretty awkward to have a safety car restart, because you basically restart on the back straight. Safety car still in, and Paul immediately goes for it. So green flag racing once again on lap 8. And Paul immediately pulls a gap of half a second to secure, with Sean right behind and Mahinovic. Positions being gained in the back end of the field, with Devenet moving up to P15, trying to recover from a poor start to this race. Drivers looking on the inside, but not quite going for the move. Out there in front, Paul still leading, but Sakir is right there behind him, staying very close to the back of the AlphaTauri, the championship leader. And Sean is there as well, very close, just to make sure he won't get caught up in a fight with his teammate once again. A bit of a slide there. The other sector 2. 4/10 is the gap. And is Sakir gonna go for the move? Gonna wait, as Des is losing a lot of positions, and he's at a moment he's off, and he's down to last place, the McLaren driver. And here goes Tent Cannon getting past Pancakes, who is dropping down the order. Started on P2 and he's all the way down to P6 at the moment. His teammate is clear out in front. On the hards, and it's going from bad to worse for Des, getting himself a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Get that removed before the end of the race. Oh, big slide there from Sakir. Another penalty there for Zimniak. Yeah, once again very close to the back of Paul. Not quite close enough to go for the move. DRS not enabled yet. And now it is, so he will be able to open his rear wing. Coming out of the center SS. There you go, and he's gonna go for the move. Once again, a yellow flags behind. Sakir pulls to the inside, wheel to wheel once again, and Sakir takes the lead on lap 10. And it's been a big moment there. Oh, and AMG has lost his front wing. Zimniak has lost quite a lot of time as well. Not sure what happened there. And 7 is making up places. Up to P10 already, going wheel to wheel. Carnato, oh, and Carnato is getting spun around. 7 turns in, and Carnato making contact with the Ferrari and spinning around down to P17 for the Alpine driver. Very unfortunate. Meanwhile at the front, Paul might be looking to regain the lead. And Sean will have to look backwards because his teammate is coming once again. Get him, here goes Paul on the outside, and into turn 1, Paul retakes the lead on lap 11. Now swapping positions every lap. Ooh, poor exit for Sakir. And Sean might be looking to go for the move, although he's not quite close enough just yet. And here goes Sakir once again on the inside. And they're swapping positions every turn, every straight. And Sakir retakes the lead now. And it's also closer. Paul looking alongside. Zimniak has retired in pit lane. And Sakir remains in the lead for now. But I'm sure Paul will come back on the next straight. Back and forth for the lead of the race. Oh, big slide for Paul coming out of the final corner. Delve a couple of tenths. And there's been a moment, and it's Charles off in the Alfa Romeo. Oh, there's a couple of cars off, 3 cars off there, as Paul retakes the lead once again. Oh, Sakir on the inside, bit of contact between the two. Just about enough space for Sakir. Tried to lunge it on the inside. Luckily for Paul that he didn't go around. Here comes Sakir once again. Helicopter shot looking nice. Sakir on the inside going wheel to wheel once again for the lead. Here has to see the position. Here comes Sean now on the inside. Sakir might be losing a position and might be losing another one because Mihinovic is looking on the inside as well. Oh, contact between the two. Oh, the rebels almost collide with each other. Sakir down to P3 now, fighting it out with Mihinovic. They're still going at it, and Sakir is all the way down to P4 now. So he went from fighting for the lead to fighting for the final podium spot. And he has to give up that position as well. Oh, as someone's gone off. Oh, hard into the wall. And Mihinovic just crashed out, and that's a virtual safety car. What the hell happened there? And Sakir losing another position as well. I think Mihinovic lost it and got collected there by Sakir. And both of them dropping down the order, virtual safety car, and Paul and Sean are going into the pit lane. A 5-second time penalty for championship leader Paul and Sakir as well. What is going on in this race? It's absolute carnage. As Paul goes on to set off mediums, which won't get him to the end of the race for sure, which means he will be able to remove his 5-second penalty at the next pit stop. But what is going on in this race? Sean and Sakir both went to a new set of hards. Surely Paul will have to pit again. 23 laps on mediums, that's going to be very difficult with very high tire wear. Don't think he will be able to make it work. Oh, drive-through penalty for Des. Penalty galore at the moment. And after all of that, 10 Cannon has got herself into the lead of the race. Somehow, after all that chaos, Pancakes has found himself in P2, but these drivers are all still yet to pit. Started on the hards. Their usual strategy. Making use of any safety car, virtual safety cars. Oh, and Des has had a moment once again. I think a reset track that was. Dropping down the order. Got himself a drive-through penalty. And spun. And losing a lot of positions in the process, down to P13 behind Sakir, who is also down at almost 3 wide at the turn 1. With Sean fighting with Madman and Paul. Out of shape there, coming out of these center S's is Madman, and there comes Sean on the inside. And he's going to take that position up at the P10 as Des is retired in pit lane. Unfortunately for the Darren reserve for tonight. AMG sets the fastest lap of the race in the Haas. While at the front end it's quite a big train of cars all very close to each other. And one of them is 7 Dead. It was at the back of the field quite a little laps ago, and now he's in P4 fighting for the podium, and he has pitted already, but he surely will have to pit again. Here goes for the move on Raiden with the help of DRS, getting past and up into P3 it is. Except for Skullkiller, who pitted as well. In the top 6 as well. These guys will still have to pit again, as they are on the mediums. And there's still quite a lot of laps to go in this race. Charles himself up at the P13. Track a few laps ago. Find his way back. Try and get himself some points. Oh, big moment there, and Pancakes collided there with Alpha Hype Wall. Pancakes was losing positions already before the final corner. And now he lost some more, down to P5, and then made contact with the Mercedes driver. Kicking off here in Brazil. And 7 Dead is now moved up to P2 because of that. Not within the DRS range of Trent Canning though, as Paul sets the fastest lap of the race. Here comes Raiden with the overspeed, trying to go around the outside, but not quite able to do so with the older, harder tires. Now Charles sets the fastest lap of the race, so having some pace in the Alfa Romeo. He's quite to the cars in front, who are Sakir and Madman fighting it out. And now Mahinovic has retired as well, the 4th driver to retire in pit lane. Well, not the 4th driver, Josh Boschman retired on track. Here comes Sakir on the inside, very close stuff. Taking some avoiding action. And Sakir is down in P12 fighting for 11th place. Went from fighting to the lead to fighting for positions outside the top 10. His teammate for tonight, Frenchie, who has made his debut tonight as well, is looking pretty solid at the moment, P8. So is he still yet to pit? Meanwhile, Raiden has found a way past 7 Dead, and he's back at the P2. Very much there. Well, Trent Cannon creating a small margin to these drivers, 1.5 seconds for now, but if they continue fighting like that, surely the gap will grow. Lap 17 of this race. When are the hard runners gonna pull into the pit lane? I think lap 19 is the original window, as Paul has found the way past Frenchie. And Sly losing all sorts of positions there. Frenchie trying to go around the outside of Paul, but quite managed to do so with the older tires. Raiden has lost the position once again to 7 Dead. And now he's under pressure from Skullkiller from behind. Trying to go around the outside, but there's not enough space, not enough speed for the Alfa Romeo driver to put himself alongside the Williams. Behind for now in P4. Paul is making his way up the field, but remember he's got that 5-second time penalty, which is going to cost him at his next pit stop. We're going to have to add a 5 seconds to his pit stop, obviously. But now he's now right at the back of this train, this leading train, except for Trent Cannon, which created a bigger gap, 1.8, 1.9 seconds And now it is 2-7 dead. A huge train now. And Paul is in it within DRS range. Have to find a way to quickly navigate through this traffic. 7 dead and Raiden once again fighting for it, and this time Skullkiller gets past as well. So Skullkiller up into the podium positions. Looking for a bit of redemption for last week. Try and get that deserved podium. 7 dead is very close to the back, and a bit too close to the back. He's had a bit of a moment and lost a bit of time, and Paul has moved up to P6. Got past Alpha I1, now right behind his teammate. Almost running into the back of his teammate. Find a way past on the exit. His teammate is not making it very easy for him. Almost squeezing him onto the grass. And Paul has to use a bit of ERS to find a way past. Two AlphaTauri is going wheel to wheel on the back straight. And finally he's got ahead, and Pancake pulls into the pit lane. Same for 10th Cannon, so lap 20 or lap 19 onto a set of mediums. Paul's now right behind Skullkiller, almost pushing him to the corner. Watch out there to not take each other out. Up at the P3 now. Slicing through the field. Now right behind the Ferrari of 7 Dead, and Raiden has inherited the race lead. For now, but still yet to pit. With Frenchie, only two drivers who are still out there on hards, as Paul finds a way past 7 Dead. Bit of contact though between the two. Passes, but he got the job done. And he knows he has to create quite a big gap to these cars. Have to pit again, and he's got that 5-second time penalty. And Raiden now pulls into the pit lane. Got himself a 5-second penalty, which 7 Dead hasn't managed. He's got himself a 5-second time penalty. He's not the only one in this race. It's quite a big issue in Bahrain. We've seen quite a lot of drivers getting themselves 5-second penalties as well, and races before that. Appears to be pretty difficult. Slow and steady into the pit lane. Well, 10th Cannon on the move. Has just pitted for new tires and is fighting it out with Madman, but Madman has got other plans as he pulls onto the inside of Charles. And this is holding up. 10th Cannon has a big moment, and Madman into the wall, and damage to the Ferrari. Was going wheel to wheel with Charles, but I think there was a bit of contact between the two. Madman went straight into the wall. Got front wing damage, and letting these cars through onto the grass he goes. And down to P12. Now Frenchie, the final one on hards, to pull into the pit lane. So, and we'll go on to a new set of mediums, which promoted Sly into P3 in the Williams. But he's on 16 lap old mediums. We'll surely have to pit again. Deep to Paul now has got a 4.6 second gap to Sean. But Sean is on hards, and he's within that 5-second window. And his tires will only get better compared to Paul's. If Paul is going to go to the end on these mediums, which is going to be very difficult on his own. Look at him fighting the car, and that's another big moment, and I surely lost him a bit of time to Sean. Actually, somehow we didn't lose that much time at all. But that won't do the tires very well. These mediums will be struggling, will be screaming. We just any more of that. Have to hope for a safety car. as the gap is now 5 seconds to the Red Bull driver behind. And Slice pulled in the pit lane, and there's a yellow flag, and it's not the first time we've seen Pancakes, and he's retired on track. That's not what you're supposed to do, but no safety car, fortunately. Tenkannon sets the fastest lap of the race, but not the clean sweep for AlphaTauri tonight, because Pancakes is out of the race. Started in P2 and had a lot of struggles. He's all the way down to P13 out of the race. And Sly's going to a set of softs till the end. 13 laps to go still. He's confident that he will be able to make it. So a lot of different strategies in this race, and it's very interesting because the top three are all on tires of the same age. Sean and Secure pitted at the same in the same lap. As well for Paul, but Paul went to the mediums and Secure and Sean went to the hards. And both Secure and Paul have got a 5-second time penalty. Secure will surely not pit unless there's a safety car. And what Paul's going to do, I don't know. But I'm sure he will struggle near the end of the race. And Raiden is making moves as well. Up at the P6, he's got past Charles. Now let his teammate Skokiller through as well. Skokiller up to P7, who was pitted as well a few laps ago. Well into the points for now. Time penalty for Matteo Germ, and there's another retirement as Carnot won. It's a big crash on the main straight, and the safety car is out. Safety car, and that's gonna completely change this race. And I think it was with Madman. Only 6 drivers out. Madman's lost his front wing. Absolute carnage in Brazil. And this is absolutely played into the hands of Deepti Paul, and it has not played into the hands of 7Dead, who's gotten himself a drive-through penalty, which is gonna ruin his race completely. He won't score points unless there's another safety car. Paul pulls into the pit lane. He will come out ahead of Sean without a penalty. Surely. Triples into the pit lane. He can serve his penalty, although he will lose a position to Tenkannon. That's Sean onto mediums. Oh, and 7Dead getting himself a 5-second penalty for speeding as well. It only gets worse for him. Paul onto softs, Sean onto mediums. Tenkannon as well onto mediums. So don't they have any of softs remaining, I wonder? Is absolutely played into the hands of championship leader Paul. Everyone into the pit lane. The majority go on to a set of softs. Except for Sean, Tenkannon and Raiden. Teams. Gonna be a sprint race to the end of the race. Probably 10 laps, 10, 11 laps. 10 laps, 10 or 9 probably. Depends on how long it will take before catches up to the field. And the Williams of Sly is in P4 at the moment. Absolute, very impressive at the moment. For a points finishes, AMG gets himself a penalty for track limits under the safety car. Painful. will go on for another lap because Madman's still behind the rest of the field. The end of lap 27. 9 laps of racing. As 7 Dead pulled into the pit lane, getting him his 5-second penalty removed, although stuck with the drive-through penalty. Both Ferrari drivers down to P13 and 14 in this race. Safety car. We had another virtual safety car as well, so race. There's still 9 laps of racing remaining. I will pray for everyone to get till the end of the race without any more incidents. But there we go. At the end of lap 27. There we go, safety car in this lap, and it's once again Paul leading the field. Will he go as early as he went the last time? Will he stretch it later? But he will have to wait a bit more before the safety car reaches the pit lane. And he's already going, just like last time. And it's green flag racing till the end. Hopefully on lap 28 Paul leads the field away with Sean and Tent Cannon behind, and is fighting behind already. The 2 Alfa Romeos going wheel to wheel into turn 1. Charles getting past Skull Killer, who's now find themselves wheel to wheel with Frenchie coming out of turn 2. Frenchie trying to go on the inside. Hasn't quite got on the straight line speed. And will have to stay behind for now in P9. Tent Cannon is also close to the back of Sean. Trying to hang on to Paul ahead, who's on softs. There's already a bit of a gap forming between Tent Cannon and Sly behind. 1 second it is. As Frenchie's fighting for position, got overtaken by Charles on the main straight. He's now fighting with Skull Killer and Material Germ for the bottom few places inside the top 10. And here comes Sakir trying to go around the outside into turn 1. Side by side with the Williams driver. Goes around the outside, another 5-second penalty for 7 Dead. It's only getting worse. Oh, and there's been a moment at the back and Sly has gone off into Williams. He was doing so well until this moment. Fighting for points, and now it's damage to the front wing and race pretty much ruined. So incredibly unfortunate, and Raiden is losing positions, almost pushing Skull Killer off track there. Down to P7. Also has moved himself up to P5 behind Sakir, who's still 2 seconds off the podium drivers, but he's on soft, so he might be able to close the gap. Sly DJ is limping around, limping back to the pits. Yeah, well, here comes Sean. He's going for the move on DPT Paul. It's not going very easy for Paul to the end of the race because Sean is attacking him round the outside at the terminal. DRS is enabled, wheel to wheel into the CNRSs. Sean has the inside line for the next turn, but DPT has the better exit. Now 10th Cannon is looking to go for the move as well. Now on the inside of Sean, now onto the second straight. They're almost going 3 wide. Here comes Sean getting past, and Sean takes the lead on lap 30. Now Paul and 10th Cannon going wheel to wheel once again as well, with Paul managing to hold on to stay holding to P2. But it's getting tasty at the front end, with Sean taking the lead, surprisingly, and Sly has unfortunately retired from the race as well. Drops the amount of drivers still in the race down to 13. The 2 Haas drivers going wheel to wheel for P9. And now Alpha Ball looking on the inside to try and gain a few positions, getting past AMG. Right at the back of Material Germ, it's almost going wrong there. Bit of contact, and Material Germ has been forced off track, I think, by the Mercedes. Here comes DPT Paul to try and retake the lead, and he does so with the help of DRS. Back into the lead as Frenchie gets past Charles, and he's up at the P5. Very solid points finish. On a bit under pressure from 10th Cannon. And the gap to Sakir is down to 1.1 seconds now. So he might be able to close the gap throughout this lap. Only 5 laps to go after this one. Now he's got himself within DRS range. Not over for Sakir. He might still be able to get a podium out of this race. It all went wrong last week in Bahrain. It might not be that way tonight in Brazil. Half second behind, and Paul has created quite a big gap now to Sean. Still holding on the DRS, and here comes 10th Cannon as he go for the move into turn 1. No, staying behind for now. Sean going a bit deep though, and compromising his exit. Here comes 10th Cannon on the inside of Sean. Wheel to wheel, no ERS in the battery. Trying to brake late, ooh, getting squeezed a bit there. And Paul's driving away Sakir, trying to go to the middle, but there's no space to go wheel to wheel there. Now 10th Cannon around the outside, losing a bit of ground, and all the while Paul is laughing out in front because he's created a 2-second gap. And now 10th Cannon losing a position to Sakir, although still fighting for it. Wheel to wheel to the middle sector. Again, I'm on the inside. And they're still going at it. Losing them so much time with only 4 laps to go. Still going wheel to wheel into the final sector now. And 10th Cannon finally stays ahead of Sakir. Now the gap is 2.1 seconds to Paul. Basically checked out. Now Raiden moving up to P6 in the Williams. Here once again fighting with 10th Cannon wheel to wheel into Cenareses. And Sakira's up into P3. Finally now into the podium positions. 10th Cannon dropping down to P4. And now Frenchie, the other Aston Martin, is there as well in P5 within DRS. Happening absolutely everywhere. Oh, at the front, it's not over yet because Sean is catching Paul quite quickly. 8 laps on these softs, and they might be dropping off. The gap has went from 2.2 seconds down to 1.4 seconds. It might not be over just yet. 1.5 seconds again, and it's just about holding on to that DRS of Sean ahead. Three laps to go in this race. Will it be DPT Paul for the win once again? Or is there something that Sean can do to prevent that. As 10th Cannon and Secure going wheel to once again. 10th Cannon back into P3, back onto the podium for now. On 0.4 seconds. This is where Sean gains the most time in the middle part of the lap. 1.3 and now it is. Gap might still be a little bit too big to be able to catch. 7 dead sets the fast lap on softs. Gap is now back to 1.5 for Sean and Paul. 1.6 even. We head on to the penultimate lap. So quite a bit of ERS left in the battery for Paul as well, so it's pretty comfortable to the end. Sean might be having to look back instead of forward, because 10th Cannon has closed the gap. Is right there with him. Staying behind for now on the first sector. Up. She might be able to go for the move and steal that P2 away from Sean. Well, at the front, Paul is managing this race till the end. 1.5 seconds gap, still quite a bit of ERS. Nothing to worry about. Just has to keep it on track. Not make any mistakes. As 7 dead is the 8th retirement of this race. Lap 35. And here comes 10th Cannon with the help of DRS Slipstream ERS. Pulls ahead and into P2 for the McLaren driver. But will she be able to hold on to the end? Because Sean will have to DRS for this DRS zone and probably also for the last DRS zone. Oh, big slide coming out of turn 2, flashing with the rear light, indicating that there is no ERS left in the battery. Well, the same could be said for Sean. 11%. That big of a difference. Being given out now to Alpha Wall in P10. Heinz got a penalty as well, so he won't because of it. Now into the final sector, the final lap of this race, lap 36. And now Sakir is going for it. He's got past Sean, but that might be a tactical move. Meanwhile, Deepti Paul started on a pole position here in Brazil. And he's going to come across the line to win the Brazilian Grand Prix as well. 10th Cannon will cross the line in P2. Behind there, Sean will to a drag race to the line. And Sean takes P3 in the end away from Sakir. Raiden and Frenchie with a drag race to the end. 47 thousandths between Sakir and Sean. But Sean steals the final podium spot away. Raiden managing to hold on to P5 by only 7/100ths of a second, followed by the two Alfa Romeos, AMG Alpha Wall Madman and Material Germ down in P12. Be the last of the finishers. The Deepti Paul was victorious once again this season. He will be extending his lead, getting much closer to the championship trophy. Paul wins with 10th Cannon with a solid drive to P2, and Sean in P3 just about holding on, overtaking Sakir on the line. Passes lap 2, 7 that won't get a point for that. Frenchie in the Aston Martin with an incredible debut race in this season. P16 to P6. Skull Killer getting some points after a disappointment of last week. AMG Indy Haas getting points as the replacement driver for the rest of the season. Jump with 16-second time penalty and 8 DNFs. Bit of a bloodbath. That wasn't the case for Paul. Wins again in Brazil. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Next week we will be heading to Yas Marina in Abu Dhabi, in the United Arab Emirates, for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, round 15 of the season. 4 rounds left, and it will be a sprint race weekend. So more points to score, more points to lose. That's going to be for next week. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and goodbye for now. Have a nice evening. Ciao, ciao.